Okay, so our very own Allie Allison, I know this was something she was very excited about. She got to meet with the owner of Class 1 Barbecue and hear their touching story. Charles and Maria are bringing Central Texas barbecue to the Texas Panhandle with the help of their family and friends. So let's take a look at Class 1 Barbecue's amazing story.
Did you know this? I mean, was this a love that you knew?
Oh yeah.
I mean, did you ever dream this is
I didn't
where
ever
it would be?
think that we would do something, that we're going to be doing something like this. You know, he was working at Panhandle, I was working in the hospitals, and I thought that was just it, you know. And so he always smoked his food, the meats and everything. I did the sides, and we would just eat with the family. And people would ask him to smoke brisket or the ribs or, you know, whatever. And he always had a love for it.
Trimming it in your cut. Whenever you're in your backyard, I don't know if people know this.
No.
We ran into even some family members that said, you don't need to trim your brisket. And I grew up watching my dad trim brisket, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, you do have to trim it. There's so much fat on there, and you don't want it to overpower the meat and then even dry out the meat. We're the ones that would, you know, cut the meat.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. Some people just don't know.
And it's not,
Really
not so much about, you know, making the money. It's about bringing something to Amarillo that they don't have.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You know, showing them, bringing Central Texas here to the top of Texas. Well, I mean, you know, when we first started, you know, we had to open, and so we started cooking on our 500-gallon pit in our backyard.
Yeah.
In the snow, in the rain, in the mud.
Dang, I know.
And
No
then,
covering.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is hard.
And then my son, he said, Pop, God sees what you're doing.
Was that JT that?
Yeah. He said, God sees it,
Yeah.
and he'll honor.
I do love it. I love every bit of it. I don't have no gloves underneath these, but it's just part of the work. I consider it part of the work, and I like that.
Yeah.
I have burn marks on my arm from dealing with the pit. On the back end, you know.
This is a trade. This is a craft.
Yeah, it is. He knows how to work the fires. He knows how to manage the fires. He knows how to manage the temp. He knows how to work the dampers and the door. You have to do that.
You're into it.
Yes, I'm deeply into it. I have to thank my pops and my dad. Growing up, I was just led into it. My dad was more into grilling. My papa had this grill-like pit. It was like a one that he made out of a barrel, and it had like a little chimney.
I love that.
But that's, you know, that's how it was. It was like a grill, you know. And that's where I started. That's where I grew up. And then my pops came along, and he was into the offset. He had an offset smoker, you know, offset smoker grills, and I was back there with him constantly. Same with my dad. I just loved it. I love it. I love the wood. I love the fire. I love the smells, like my cologne, you know.
It is. I was fixing to say.
It smells so good.
Yeah, y'all, that's so funny, because I know whenever you go home every day, that's part of it. Well, so kind of a family affair.
Yes.
How did you know that your family was interested? I mean, JT wants to be this side. Your daughter. I mean, how did that all come together? I mean,
Since he was little, he was out there with my husband,
Oh.
out in the backyard. And my daughter, you know, I learned how to. I was been married before, so my in-laws, and she's my grandmother-in-law, my meat-in-law, but she's gone on now. But I was really in the kitchen with her, and she was showing me as she got older, she couldn't cook. So me and my first husband would put the meals together, you know, and stuff. And my daughter was right there, so she's learned a lot. And then my mom was always cooked. I came from a large family, and all girls. I have 5 sisters. So my dad was like, "Y'all are getting, you know, we learned how to cook at a young age," and I feel like it just stuck on me, you know, just teaching my daughters, teaching my son, you know, he'll go home and cook a meal for his family, and, you know, so it's always been in the family to cook, you know, and it's saves you money, so.
oh my God.
So when we were growing up, coming from a large family, going out to eat was a treat for us. It was a big treat for us. Now it's like, you stop at any drive-through, you know, and that's what my husband wants a restaurant so bad, that where they can come in and sit down. Because I remember when we used to go to eat with my mom and dad, and we were so excited to go into a restaurant and sit and eat, and, you know, because that was a treat for us.
That is special.
You know, so
I'm with you.
we want that also for the community and people that are coming from afar. Just like we would travel to Austin or down to the Rio Grande Valley to sit down and eat, we know that people's going to end up coming here, and we want them to experience everything good. So JT, I think he's always had it in him to learn to cook, and then whenever Charles and I were talking about getting this up and running, he was like, I'm there. And my daughter, she has her little restaurant on the side. It's called Juicy's Kitchen, and she does pretty good with everything that she makes. It's more like Southern, and she was like, me and my husband, we already knew, like, we need Jocelyn, we need her. And JT was all for it. You know, we're here, we're excited, we're here to serve Amarillo and get our product out there so everyone can see how great and tasteful it is. Because it really is tasteful.
No, I know.
Yeah, this
Listen,
is-
I'm blown away.
This is Central Texas style barbecue at its best.
With the sides at its best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Sir,
sides.
I have to
And the
put that in there
sides.
because we were not.
Nothing, I mean, the sides, everything. It's just a
Everything.
full circle, the whole experience.
Well, I as well did them for New and Amarillo, and let me just say,
They
their
good?
food,
I have to give
pretty
them a
good.
try.
You're gonna have to give them a try.
I'm a sucker
So,
for some good barbecue.
yeah, so they are definitely a good place to check out.
Sounds good.